Hello everyone, my name is Aurora and welcome to my channel. It's been a minute, but just to give you an update on what's been going on the past couple of weeks now that I'm in my new apartment. So it was just, working on unpacking. I feel like there was just a lot of shuffling things around. Because I don't have my storage space yet or my garage. We had put some stuff in the storage, but then they asked us to take it back out, and so we're just kind of shuffling things around. So I unpack and organize one area, and I move things to another area, and then I feel I go and work on another area, and then I come back to the first area, and it's just very messy. But yeah, we're figuring that out, and the garage is now available. I actually went today to the leasing office and they were like, yeah, you can use the garage, and the storage unit I can start using as well, but they had to put in a work order to reprogram the door. It's like an electronic type thing that works with my key fob, and they need to reprogram it so that I can actually unlock the storage unit and be able to put stuff in there. So I'm hoping tomorrow we'll start moving some stuff into the garage, and then I'm hoping the storage unit, it'll only take maybe 1 or 2 days and we can move stuff into there. But yeah, otherwise I feel like most of the boxes are unpacked. Things are not organized, or at least in my space they're not, but I'm working on it, and I'll give you a little tour of my room. This is the one that's probably the closest to being done, and tonight I'm really just gonna focus on cleaning. So there's kind of been some, aside from not having access to the storage unit and the garage, I'm also having to do my own pest control, even though that's part of my rent. I pay a extra fee every month for pest control. But they came the first time, and that was when the ants were in the kitchen, and they said if you see more, just let the leasing office know and we'll come again next Thursday. Well, I went and told them, and then the guy didn't show up on the next Thursday. And so I went back again today to the leasing office, and I was like, he didn't come last time, but he needs to come again, because now I'm seeing the ants everywhere, and they really are everywhere, and they're starting to bite, and yeah, it's just been a whole thing. That's also kind of another thing that's been going on. I'm unpacking and reshuffling things from room to room, but I'm also having to clean and re-clean spaces because of the ants. So the ants show up and it's okay, I have to sweep and mop this room again, and put down more spray for the ants, and then they'll show up in another area and I have to clean and spray for the ants again, and it's just been a lot of that. And I feel like I haven't had time to just focus on truly unpacking and cleaning the space, because I'm constantly thinking oh, before I even put anything in that corner, I need to make sure that I clean and spray for ants. So yeah, I'm having to do my own pest control. But they promised me that the guy would be coming this Thursday, and I'm gonna make him put whatever he's putting in every single room, every closet. And I'm just gonna tell him, I'm gonna be look, we just moved in, I realize it's messy, if you need me to move anything, I'm happy to do that, but I want you to treat every single room. Because the ants, the other day, I don't even know how this happened, but sometimes I will feel the ants crawling on my feet or my legs, and I'll of course kill them. And I've gotten really paranoid about it, even if there's nothing on me, oh, there's ants on me, and so I'm always brushing my legs off and stuff. But the other day I was my armpit really hurts. This is a weird story, but I was my armpit really hurts, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I was rubbing my armpit, and there was an ant in my armpit. I found an ant, and it had actually bit all of my armpit, and I had a big welt. And I don't know how that ant like got into my dress without me noticing. Like, it didn't crawl on me because I would have felt it. So the only thing I can think of is like maybe it was in my dress like when I put it on. But yeah, it was not a pleasant situation. Um, but they're just like cropping up everywhere. And I've already used up an entire like can of Raid ant spray, which I think is insane. Because like in one of my apartments that I lived in the like spring and summer, I every now and then I'd get a few ants in the kitchen because they'd be attracted to the dog food. And I remember like I would just mop and spray a little bit, and then I would have to do that maybe once or twice throughout the entire like spring and summer. It wasn't a huge infestation or anything, but I remember like I had a can of ant spray and it lasted me like the entire time that I lived there, which was 2 years. And it wasn't even empty like when I left and threw it out. But here in 2 weeks, I have used an entire can of ant spray. And it's just a little ridiculous. And even outside, like I've noticed when walking the dog, like around the property, around the building, there are these huge ant hills. So I'm gonna bring that to the attention of the like pest control guide too, because I'm like, well, I don't know what you're doing, because do you not see these ant hills? And they're like everywhere. I can like I know that other people are struggling with them too, because whenever I go in there to ask to be put on the list for pest control, there's like a list of tons of other people. And like these apartments are new, like there's no other bugs, it's got to be the ants. And yeah, so that's that situation. And then the other thing I went to the leasing office for today was to ask about the trash, because I'm supposed to have valet trash. I pay a monthly fee every month, like it was part of my rent, for valet trash, where you just put the trash outside of your door and then like somebody comes and picks it up, and that's like the trash service. Because we only have like one dumpster on the property, and it is like perpetually full. Because even when the trash company comes to pick it up, they only pick up what's in the dumpster, and then all the other bags and things that are around it on the outside, they just leave there because it's not in the dumpster. And so what the maintenance does is like once they've emptied out the dumpster, they go and pick up all of the bags that are on the outside of the dumpster and put them on the inside. So it's like instantly full again. And like I'm not going to show you the trash area just because it's nighttime right now, but I'll have to like get a clip at some point and show you guys. But like the trash area, the recycling bin area, like it is overflowing, and it's just been like that since I moved in. And I can only see it getting worse as like more people move in. So I don't know what they're doing to fix that, but yeah. Anyways, and that's what the valet trash service does. Like there's just people that go and like pick up the bags from your apartment, and then they go put it in that same dumpster. So yeah, they're gonna have to like schedule more pickups or something. But anyways, the valet trash service, you're supposed to be able to put your trash outside of your door, and then the next morning, like it's supposed to be like they're supposed to have come and picked it up. And I've put my trash out there and no one picks it up, so I end up taking it out to the dumpster myself. And you know, it's not a big deal because the dumpster is like pretty close to my building, and I don't mind taking out the trash. I've never had valet trash service before, but I am paying $30 a month for this. So yeah, those are the issues with my apartment. Like I'm paying for a storage unit that I can't use. I'm paying for a garage that I can't use. I'm paying for valet trash service, but I still have to take out my own trash. And I'm paying for pest control, and I have to do my own pest control. So yeah. But I'm also like just trying to wait it out. Like I don't like conflict and confrontation, but if I have to do it, like I will. I'll like fight with people, but I'm just kind of waiting this out, like, because like with the garage and the storage, like they had told me it would be ready July 1st. That came and went. And then they would told me it'd be ready at the beginning of this week, and that came and went. And it wasn't until today that I went and checked with them again, and they were like, oh yeah, you can now use your garage and storage. And I was like, well, were you guys ever gonna tell me? Like, but anyways, like I'm just waiting it out. And then the trash, they said like, oh, if like just put it out there, if they still don't come and get it, like send us an email and we'll figure out why they're not coming to your building. But I think that now that more people have moved into my building, they'll have to start coming to like pick up trash, because I'm not the only one that's going to be complaining. But yeah, so I'm just gonna like kind of give it another week, and once I get have access to my garage now, and once I get access to the storage, and then hopefully the trash they'll actually start coming to pick it up. And then Thursday we'll see what the pest control guy does. Hopefully those situations will kind of resolve themselves without me having to get a little like, you know, hyped up and start yelling at people, because I'm just too tired for that. Like I don't want to fight with people, but like my patience level is wearing very thin. And I did pay my rent, so it's not like, you know, they shouldn't be providing these things to me. Yeah, so that's that. Last weekend, I went to my little cousin's wedding. So most of my cousins are older than me. They're in their like mid to late 40s. And they have kids that are early to like mid 20s. And so I call them my little cousins. They're technically my second cousins, but I just call them my little cousins. And it was one of my little cousins that was getting married. And her father is my cousin. And so we went to her wedding in Arkansas, and we were only there for 2 days, but it was just so much fun. So we drove up there, we checked into the hotel, and we hadn't even gotten our stuff off the car yet. We had just checked in, and my mom like wanted to go up to the room so she could use the bathroom before we like unloaded the car. And so we go up to the second floor, which is where our room was at, and we like immediately step out of the elevator, and there's like a little area where there's vending machines, ice machines, and two of my little cousins were there like buying Cokes from the vending machine. And they were like, oh my gosh, you guys are here. And they're like, come to our room, like we just ordered pizza, everybody's over there, we just ordered pizza, and we're about to have lunch. So we just like dropped the dog off in our room and went straight over there and like hung out with them and just like laughed and joked. And then we all got ready for the wedding, went to that. It was a really nice ceremony and reception. My little cousin looked absolutely beautiful in her wedding dress. It was just very, very nice. And we were all seated, like, because this was like her father's side of the family, we were all seated at like one table together. So we were just like laughing and having a good time the entire night, having a few cocktails. There wasn't a lot of dancing like at the wedding, because just like everything that they had planned for the reception, like speeches and things like that, went pretty long. And then there was maybe like 45 minutes of dancing kind of at the end before it was like over. But it doesn't matter because I don't dance anyways. But when we were done, we all went back to the hotel room. And I had just pulled like the barrette that I had in my hair out, and I was about to grab a makeup wipe and take off all of my makeup, and one of my little cousins calls me, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. And he's like, well, we're gonna go to this like bar in whatever area. And I was like, okay. And he was like, do you want to go? And I was like, I don't know, because like I thought it was just gonna be like my little cousins that were going, and like I said, they're all like 25, like 23 to 25. And it's just like a different vibe with them, right? In that case, like if it was just them and I was going with them, I would be like the oldest one at 31. And it was just gonna be like different. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I want to go. But he was like, oh well. And then he said that it was my older cousin, like my actual cousin, that had like found this place and she wanted to go. And she's actually my oldest cousin, and she's like almost 50. And I was like, okay, well then I guess I'll go with you guys. Because I was like, if anything, like my little cousins, they can go off and do whatever they want and like act crazy at the bar. And like me and my cousin will just like sit back and chill and have a few drinks. And so I went with them, and there were 6 of us, and we decided to like cram all into one car. It was just so hilarious. This place that my cousin found was like 20 minutes away, so we were like all squished in the car, just like laughing, cracking jokes. We get there, and the place was like split. Like half of it was like Mexican music, and then the other half was like contemporary music, and they had like pool tables. And so we spent some time like just listening to the music on the Mexican side of the bar, and then later on we went and played a couple of rounds of pool, and just again like had a good time. We were just laughing, enjoying ourselves. And then before we went back to the hotel, we went to Denny's and just had like breakfast. And I didn't get back to the hotel until like 4:30 in the morning, and I just went to sleep. And then we got up the next morning and checked out and came home. But it was just a lot of fun. And even though like that was just a subset of my cousins, it just got me really excited to like see everyone when we go up there in a couple of weeks for my uncle's like memorial service. And yeah, it was just a fun time. It was something that I needed to just be able to like let loose a little. I got a little tipsy, was having all these cocktails, but was just laughing and like having a good time catching up with everyone. And then we came back here, and about 2 days passed, and I came down with a cold. And I feel like it was just expected. Usually when I move from one like climate to another, I get a cold just because I have pretty sensitive sinuses. But I also think it was just kind of like a culmination of things, right? Like I had been like physically exerting myself quite a bit, with the move, and there was just a lot of stress. So I feel like my immunity was lower than normal. And so that like coupled with, I'm sure the little hangover I had from the wedding didn't help. But then also just the climate, like when I was up in New York, it was pretty moderate climate, like it didn't get too hot or anything. And then here it's like dead heat, like so hot. And then even just like going inside, you're inside with the air conditioning, and then you go outside into like the super hot, and you come back inside where it's like really cold with the air conditioning. It was just bound to happen that I was gonna catch a cold. And that's all it was. Like it progressed like any other cold. Like the first day I had a really sore throat, the second day it was like sore throat and runny nose, and then the third day I started to get like stuffed up nose, like a lot of congestion. And I'm still a little bit phlegmy right now, but yeah, I just took the time to like recuperate. And those first like 3 days of the cold, I just stayed in bed, I slept. And it was really nice because like I like to be prepared, you guys know that. So like in my little medicine bin, I had everything I needed. I had Robitussin, I had like Mucinex DM, I had my like vitamin C tablets that I like to take when I'm sick. I even had like immunity support tea, and I was able to just like, just use all that. And I just like hung out in bed for those 3 days. And as I started to feel better, I was putting together the floral arrangements for my uncle's memorial service. And I'll show you guys clips of those, but I think they turned out like really well. The two in the pots I think we're going to use on like either side of his urn at the memorial service. The big cross we're going to put next to like a big photo that we're going to have of him. And then of course the two little ones that have the like spikes are going to go at the actual grave site. And the gravestone that we ordered was delivered to my uncle's, and he opened up the package and was like, yeah, everything looks perfect, it looks really nice, so that's good to go. And then just today I picked up the keychains that we're gonna give as like favors, and we're gonna have to like figure out a way to print, I don't know if I'm gonna do like stickers or something, just saying in memory of, and putting that on the back of the keychain, and then putting them in little organza bags. I have another cousin who's gonna make some like buttons that are gonna have a photo of him. And then I believe one of my uncles is making like cards, like memorial cards type of thing. So we're gonna put all those things together, and that's gonna be like the favor. And then my mother has been organizing stuff like church service and like a meal that we're gonna have at the church hall afterwards. So everything's pretty good to go with that. But yeah, that's kind of what I was doing, like the tail end of my cold. And now I'm getting back to unpacking and organizing. Yeah, and like I think the being sick, like I needed that so that I can truly like rest and start decompressing. And I have noticed like a huge change. Like I'm just not stressed about anything anymore. Even like unpacking and stuff like that, like it's slowly happening. One other thing, like I was in my closet, so my scale, I just kind of like propped it up against the wall in the closet, and I was like in there the other day doing something, and I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna weigh myself. And so I put the scale in the bathroom, I weighed myself, and I was really surprised that in the past month, so the month of June, I lost 10 pounds. And I was like close to 295. I'm now at 285 exactly. And I hadn't been exercising or dieting or anything like that. I think it was just kind of the fact, like the stress of the move. You know, like there was a lot of physical exertion and stuff like that, just in terms of packing and moving things around. But there was also just days where I'd be like so busy doing things that I would eat maybe one big meal, or like eat a small meal in the morning and then have dinner late at night. And I think just all of that together, like I ended up dropping 10 pounds. What to do with my hair, because I've had a lot of new growth. You can't see it because it's kind of, there we go. So it's probably about 1.5 inches and of my black roots, and I don't want to like go through the whole process of bleaching it and dyeing it again just to cover up the roots. So I'm thinking, and since it's grown out, like my asymmetrical haircut that I have doesn't look as great. So I'm thinking of getting a haircut and getting it kind of like a short stacked bob. And then once I get it cut, then I'll dye my hair back to black. Even though I have like enjoyed this color, I just don't want to deal with like the upkeep, and it is starting to look kind of bad because of the new growth. So maybe that'll happen this week as well. As I've been unpacking, I have been decluttering. And I'm really proud of myself because I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and I'm just keeping like the absolute basics. I don't know what I came across the other day, but it was saying how like out of the 100% of possessions that you own, you probably only regularly use about 20% of them. And I feel like, at least for me, that's probably spot on. You know, because I use the same things over and over again. And I've like, as I've been unpacking and saying like, okay, I'm gonna keep this, I'm gonna put it here, like I've even gone back through certain like shelves and areas and been like, do I really need like this much decor if it's all like the same type? And there were two big boxes of decor like from the living room and that I had that I needed to unpack, and I ended up getting rid of like 75% of it because I was like, I just, I don't need this. And it, like, we're really looking forward. My mom and I were talking about it today, since the we can now use the garage. Like probably tomorrow we're going to start pulling out all of this stuff that we've been like setting aside that we're going to be taking to our family in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to sort it because it's like, oh well, my aunt would like this or my cousin would like this, and that way we can just like get an idea of what's going to who, and we're going to put them in boxes and we're going to get them out of the apartment into the garage, and eventually like into one of the cars. I think we're going to take my mom's car just because hers is bigger and we're going to be taking a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's probably what we're going to do tomorrow. And I'm just getting rid of a lot. Even like my stationery and stuff like that, I went through it and it was like, I have all of these notebooks and I do use a lot of notebooks, but there's just no way like I'm gonna get through all of these, especially when I see a cute notebook and I buy it. So I got rid of quite a few notebooks and things like that. And I haven't hit the clothes yet. I haven't really done much in my closet. I hung up all the like clothes that needed to be hung up, but I haven't like positioned my drawers where I want to put them, again because like I'm waiting for the ant guy to come do some pest control, because when he came the first time he was like, don't spray anything. He was like, because that's going to cause like the colonies to split or something. I don't know. And I was like, okay, I won't like spray anything, I'll just let you come and deal with it. But the past, like, since he didn't come last week, I was like, I can't deal with these ants like just running around any longer. So I was like, I'm gonna use the spray and like whatever happens, but I need to kill these ants. So anyways, I haven't done anything in the closet, but as far as like my folding clothes that I put in drawers, and then there's all the stuff that's supposed to go out into the garage that's in my closet. But I have been working on my bedroom and my bathroom. And today I'm just gonna like vacuum this room, finish spraying all the baseboards with ant spray. I do want to spray the windowsill as well. And before I did put together my bed, because I'm just not sure when or like if I'm gonna get a twin bed, and I was just tired of my mattress being on the floor, so I went ahead and put the bed together, and it does fit reasonably well in here. I haven't ordered a desk yet either, for that same reason. Like, I feel like if I do put a desk in here, it's gonna be really crammed. So maybe this should just be my bedroom and like little entertainment space, and I figure something else out for my office. But at the same time, it would be nice to have like a desk in here. I don't know. I'm still on the fence with that stuff, but I did unpack all of my office stuff and decluttered and got rid of a lot. There is quite a bit of paperwork that I need to go through, but it's like from school, and paperwork, at least for me, is not something that I can declutter quickly. It's something that I like take my time with, like looking at what it is, do I need to keep it, how can I file it, sort of thing. So that's kind of what's sitting next to me on my little sofa. And then, but everything else in here is like pretty organized and decluttered. It's just a matter of like vacuuming, moving the furniture away from the walls to spray for ants, and then moving it all back. And yeah. And then in the bathroom, I do, like, since I've been here a couple of weeks, I do want to go ahead and like give it a good clean and mop, and then again spray for ants in there because I'm seeing a lot of them in there as well. And then maybe later on in the week tackle the closet. But since I'm just kind of like getting over my illness, today was actually a really productive day. I had some pictures, some photos printed for the memorial service, and I went to pick them up at Walgreens. I went to Staples because a couple of my uncles had asked me for like photos from one of my other uncles' funerals that happened back in January, and they asked me to put them on like little flash drives for them. And so I went and got a couple of those, and then I got some flash drives for myself because at school they're gonna like cancel our cloud account or whatever, and before that happens I want to download all my files, and I'm just gonna put them on a flash drive. I usually do that after I like leave school or I get a new computer or something. I like to just put all the files on a flash drive. There was only one time when I had gotten a new computer and I thought I had downloaded all of the files onto a flash drive of my old computer, but I didn't, and I accidentally deleted everything. But usually I'm pretty good about like just getting backups, and even if I never like use those files again, I know that I have them and I can like go back and, you know, open up the flash drive and pull whatever I need. But yeah, I did that. And then on the like slate for tomorrow is going to get the dog some food because he's running low of his, and then returning my mom's like Spectrum internet boxes because that's like right next to the store where we get the dog food. And then we'll probably work on the garage stuff. And that reminds me, so before we went to the wedding, I had to take the dog to the vet because this is just something that regularly happens with him. He has environmental allergies, but usually in the spring and summer, like the grass and stuff like that will irritate him and he'll get like a little rash on his belly. It's something that's happened every, you know, couple of years ever since he was a puppy, and they put him usually on some sort of like allergy pill that I have to give to him. And so when we came down here, he had gotten that little rash, and so we took him in, or I took him into the vet, and they told me like, we can give you the same medication that he's always taken, like the pill, or now we can just give him like an allergy shot that should last for about 8 weeks. And so we went with the shot this time, and it cleared up within a couple of days, so he was fine. But I did, you know, have to take him and like get him squared away as well. And yeah, getting over my cold, feeling a lot better. I'm just excited and calmer, and things are going well. I still haven't heard anything from the like job that I did the online interview for, but they did tell me that they were gonna be like on vacation for 4th of July, and that I probably wouldn't hear anything until this week anyway, so it'll happen. I'm not too terribly worried about that. But yeah, this weekend is like my birthday weekend. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'd wanted to go to San Antonio, but for some reason I thought that San Antonio was closer to Dallas than it is, but it's 6 hours and like driving, and I don't know that I want to do like another trip so soon, because when we went to the wedding that was about a 6-hour drive as well. And then 2 weeks from now we're driving again another 6 hours to Northwest Texas, where my family is at for my uncle's memorial service. And I just feel like that many trips back to back would be too much. So I'm not sure that we're gonna go to San Antonio for my birthday, but we probably will like August or something like that. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do for my birthday, but then the week after that we're going to visit my family, which should be crazy. Just given the fact that it was crazy and we only saw some of them for like 2 days at this wedding. We're gonna definitely be seeing a lot more when we go for the memorial service. And the memorial service, I don't know if I've told you guys, but back in December of 2020, this past year, my uncle passed away. He had been battling cancer for a couple of years, and I was there with my mother, and we were able to like see him at the funeral home and all of that stuff. But because it was like the middle of COVID, a lot of my family couldn't travel. He lived in South Carolina, and you know, so his wishes were to be cremated and then buried in Texas. And because a lot of my family couldn't travel to South Carolina when he passed away because of COVID, we are holding a memorial service this summer, because he's been cremated, and he's now in Texas, and we're gonna be burying him in Texas, and that's what we're doing in next couple of weeks. We're gonna have like a church service and then actually like put his ashes in the ground, and that way like all of my family is able to come. And yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to update you guys on. Thanks. Bye.